Welcome to the TMT Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're in Boston, Mass. We're meeting with a number of companies in the tech and the telecom space. On our program right now is Chris Koeneman. He is the Vice President of the Bluesocket Business Group of Adtran. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Rich. Glad to be here.
So why don't we focus on your group within Adtran and what you guys provide to the market?
Yeah. So what Bluesocket does is it's a wireless solution for enterprise companies. So it allows for connectivity of users onto a wireless network that operates on the local area network. So it's a WLAN. It's a WLAN that we make and we offer to the marketplace.
And so you position it as opposed to other vendors in the market? How,
Right.
in other words, why would a customer want to buy from you in the market as opposed to other companies?
Sure. So what we've done that's new and different is we took a look at wireless in the enterprise, and what we saw was a real scale problem. And it was a scale problem in the sense that more and more users are trying to connect to that wireless network with more and more devices. So it used to be just a laptop, but now it's a notepad, it's an iPad, it's a smartphone. All of these devices speak wireless. So it's more and more users wanting to use higher and higher bandwidth, and they want to be mobile. They want to be moving all the way across a campus, and more access points. So we saw this as a big scale problem. We solved it through virtualization. So what we did was we took the controller that typically sits behind wireless access points, and we virtualized that. So that normally does management and control of the network. So we've gotten rid of that piece of hardware. That runs on a hypervisor. That makes this completely different than any other solution.
So by virtualizing it, you allow also the scale to increase as well?
Yeah,
growth?
the scale increases dramatically, as virtualization does in any application. So most hardware controllers can support about 150 access points, maybe about 4,000 users. So in software, so not with a piece of hardware, but in software, we can go up to 1,500 access points. We can go up to 48,000 users. So a great leap, an order of magnitude in terms of the number of users and the number of access points we can support.
And as the processors get more powerful, you don't have to do anything, right? The hardware just
It's all in software. It's on a hypervisor. So what's that taking advantage of for the customer is that data center. That data center where the customer has already made investments in scale and reliability. This is just another application that goes on there.
Now, in terms of deployments, what are some of the challenges that companies have when they're deploying wireless LANs and some things that you can tell them that they need to look out for?
So one of the biggest challenges in deploying wireless LANs, a lot of the original challenges have been, those have been conquered with intelligent access points. So a lot of the RF tinkering that you used to have to do, so a lot of that an intelligent access point will do for you. I think that probably the toughest thing is what size of controller are you going to need? And oftentimes customers are challenged by the vendors by saying, well, how many users are you planning on supporting? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know all these devices that are going to speak Wi-Fi. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges is to figure out how big a controller. Do you overbuy and then figure you'll grow into it? Or do you underbuy and then add more controllers? Either way is not so good. So what we say is forget that hardware controller. Instead, just download our software onto a hypervisor, and you're set to go. You're never making that painful implementation decision of how big a controller should I buy.
Okay, great. And what other trends are there in the market that we should know about?
A couple of interesting trends that we're seeing in the marketplace. One is more short-term, one's a little more longer-term. Short-term, we're seeing a desire by the enterprise and others to handle wired users the same way you do wireless. And we can do that now, so we can handle users that come through a wired port and treat them just the same as if they came through the radio, through the wireless radio. So that's one, that's more immediate. The more long-term one, I think, that has big implications on this industry is the tendency to take data sessions that are on a smartphone and offload those from the cellular 4G and 3G networks and put that onto Wi-Fi. That's a big trend, and there's a number of standards that are emerging that will allow users to roam between different Wi-Fi networks as easily as you do on a cellular network.
Sure.
So what that Wi-Fi network is going to be is a sponge that's going to absorb all of those data sessions that the carriers would prefer not go onto the 3G, 4G network. It's a lot more economical for it to go on the Wi-Fi network. I mean, that's a big trend in Wi-Fi networking in the next 2 years.
Do you ever experience problems with roaming between access points within an enterprise? I mean, is that ever a challenge?
That's been conquered in the industry. So Bluesocket, for example, I mean, we can support full layer 2 and layer 3 mobility across different access points. The bigger challenge, that's been conquered pretty much in the industry. What we've done is spread that out. So in a lot of controller-based solutions, you can do the roaming, but over a limited number of access points. But we can do it across 1,500 access points. So we can do it across an enormous mobility domain.
Nice campus.
Yeah, exactly. And you could roam all the way across that campus and maintain a persistent IP session.
Wow. I don't think your battery would last. But
if your battery can hold up.
So what's next?
So that, I mean, what's next is I think Wi-Fi will continue to grow. I mean, Wi-Fi will become, you remember this old adage from switching and routing, switch when you can, route when you have to. I think it's going to be Wi-Fi when you can, 3G when you have to. So I think that will become the wireless network of choice, just because of the very nature of it. It's unlicensed, sure. It's everywhere, and that'll be the access method of choice.
Great. Thanks so much for being here.
Welcome.
Today.
Thank you, Rich.